Hello and welcome, friends and family. What's happening? Good to see you. Good to be with you, back with you on this Thursday. I took 2 nights off this week, which I don't normally do successive in the middle of the week, but had some coaching needed to be done, and had a wonderful time. Won one game, lost another, but played for a championship this weekend. So I'm very excited for the girls I'm coaching and the families all involved. So thank you, my friends, for joining me this evening. And I wow, things have been happening, haven't they? It's amazing what you know. I just turn away for just a moment, and look what happens. I leave it to you guys for 2 days, and look what happens. Um, welcome, one and all. Good to have you here. Good to see all your beautiful comments. And and thanks for joining us. And please share this out, give it a thumbs up, do all that good stuff, and let's have a great evening in the Sned Shed. And I got a lot to say about a lot of things. So fabulous to be here with you all. Um, okay, so. Um, We are all connected, patriots quietly waging a keyboard battle to discover and get to the truth. We are also God's warriors through praise and glory. Fantastic. Good to see you, Roy. Um, let's see. Ravens Wings got her puppy settled. 8 weeks is kind of a hit or miss thing. Yeah, I feel you. Silver Girl in the house. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? Um, so Jan, what's happening, something's going on with X where I've reposted it on X, but it's not automatically showing up in my feed on X that I think you all are finding. So I'm very sorry about that, but I don't know what's going on. If anybody has any suggestions as to what's going on, please let me know. We'll get to the bottom of it. So here we go. Let's start with today with a deposition that was given in the Epstein case by Leslie Wexner, and see what he has to say with Jasmine Crockett questioning him, trying to find out more information about President Trump, right? Trying to, they're gonna, one way or another, they're gonna get Trump in the Epstein files, folks. They're just trying and trying and trying, and they just cannot do it. So, but it's obvious how hard that they are trying. Let me play Jesse Waters' take on it for you here. I'm a little tired, my friends. It's been a long week already, and getting ready for the move, and just everything that I need to do. And so, bear with me a little bit as I try to get some momentum going here. I had to take a nap right before. Anybody else having trouble sleeping? I have past couple nights I've not gotten good sleep, and I know there's a lot going on with the new year, and some other friends told me that they haven't slept well the past 2 nights. The Schumann resonance is off the charts. At any rate, I would love your comments down below. Here we go.
Victoria Wexner, who owned Victoria's Secret, testified yesterday. No one was closer with Epstein than Wexner. But Democrats clearly aren't interested in the victims.
Did you ever see or become aware of President Trump having a sexual relationship with a person who was introduced to him by Epstein or Maxwell?
No.
Has Donald Trump ever discussed Jeffrey Epstein with you?
No.
Did Jeffrey Epstein ever discuss Donald Trump with you? Did Epstein ever share any information with you about Donald Trump's sexual activities?
No. 100 Victoria Wexner, who owned Victoria's
So they're obviously trying to catch President Trump. By the way, quick, some of you have not had access to the following, but I want to share this with you, and that is the artwork that I am sharing of Spiritual Street Fighter, and it's really a beautiful piece, so I don't want to cloud it. So let me bring that to you. That's what it looks like. A beautiful, brave new world lies ahead. Um, Let me also take this off. A beautiful, brave new world lies ahead, Spiritual Street Fighter. And, I wouldn't have used this had it not been for me actually doing an audio recording today and discussing this very thing. And then I look to the thumbnails for tonight's show as possibility, and I see that. And I think, wow, she and I are kind of on the same, bandwidth. And, but I think that a lot of people are on this bandwidth. And I think it's a very exciting bandwidth to be on because it speaks of change. It speaks of peace. It speaks of justified war. It speaks, and how do you justify war? Well, peace through strength is a thing that has been, unfortunately, is necessary for humanity to be at peace. I showed in one of my drops yesterday that here, I'll pull it up now. No, it was today. I was busy today, this afternoon, but I showed this post, or I actually created this post, and I said, what we are witnessing today with the Board of Peace is real Donald Trump slowly and methodically replacing the UN, who have done less creating peace in their entire existence than President Trump has done in 1 year. And it's funny that the United Nations banner is the flag, which of course is a flat Earth flag. Okay, that's from the top down, the top of the dome looking down, and the wreath around it is Antarctica. Doesn't cover it completely, but represents it. And they have a gun tied in a knot. Well, the problem is that the gun for justice must be untied, must be straight shooting, because we need that to stop wars, to create peace. We need to have a strong military, and that's what President Trump has absolutely done. And I do believe, with what we've seen with the this Board of Peace that Trump is the chairman of, is that will be replacing the UN, because the UN is broken in so many ways. It's not even funny. So, but with the but I wanted to go back to the Wexner real quick. Is that, with the Epstein thing, the this was yesterday. I don't know that, but these are WEF puppets, the Soros, the Soros puppets that are, caught up in this whole thing and trying to dismantle what President Trump is doing. And here's Alex Soros with all these characters: Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar, Mark Kelly, Jasmine Crockett, Tim, what's his name in Virginia? Tim Kaine, right? Is that Klobuchar? Is that what's his name? Warnock, Schumer, Harris, Watermelon Head, Newsom, Warren. I mean, it's just Pelosi. Come on. Buttigieg, Clinton. Folks, it doesn't swallow, Swalwell. This is ridiculous, folks. This is a what's his name? The minority speaker they're controlled without question. Okay, and that's what we're seeing. All those people that are being controlled are trying to implicate President Trump in the Epstein files. So the remember, and we talked about this the other day, but I didn't really get into it. But remember when they allowed so many of them to come in and look at the unredacted Epstein files? They each had their own computer. They each had their own login. Bondi said she was tracking what they were searching for. And they were very upset at that. But why? Why? Because you show motive with the way you're searching. If you're searching for your own name, if you're searching for Donald Trump, if you're searching for somebody that is a big donor to your campaign, somebody you're in business with. So that was a sting operation. And what a sting operation it was. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. The capitulation tour continued today. Well, the big news, Whip and Spur, right, is the arrest of Prince Andrew. Was it the first arrest? Well, it certainly, I think, shocked the world, right? And I think that was definitely a factor. And Sir Oliver also said, why would anyone ask Les Wexner if Jeffrey Epstein ever brought young women to him? He only likes boys. And they never even asked him that. I have not seen that deposition. Has anybody seen that, by the way? But let me bring up Andrew. Prince Andrew arrested today. And nobody's talking about the fact that his brother was also best friends with a pedophile. And Concerned Citizen said, Charles, best friends with BBC star and the UK's most notorious pedophile, Jimmy Savile. Without question. And this guy never served time. He never paid for his crimes. Why? Because of the royal family. Okay. I also wanted to take you to and remind you of the Amy Rohrbach interview it wasn't an interview, but it was kind of a hot mic moment that was brought to us by James O'Keefe back in 2019. And I'm going to take you to that. Bear with me here, folks. Sorry. I don't know. Oh, I know the problem. Okay. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, I do need to also, because I've been having the problem with the show actually showing up on my feed. I've had to haven't put it in Snedeheads, so I'm going to do that now. So it'll be on Snedeheads. Okay. Here we go. right? So Jimmy Savile, and I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I'm a little out of it, and so I'm gaining momentum. I'm gaining momentum. Um, I think Andrew will take the Royals down with him, but I don't think we need him to do that because Q has it all. And I think that's a very important thing. Now, so let me share this with you. This is and I covered this, live when it happened back in the day. And This is Amy Rohrbach, who has also, by the way, was granted an interview with Hunter Biden after this. But this is in 2019. And my post says Disney, ABC, fake news had the story of Epstein, Prince Andrew, and the Clintons in 2016. When HRC was running against Trump. The Trump administration arrested Maxwell and Epstein, and Trump was an informant against Epstein back to 2007, is releasing all of the Epstein files. I went live the morning of the story of Epstein's death and said he is alive, and I still believe this. And if you guys remember that, I was up on a hill overlooking the San Fernando Valley. So here's Amy Rohrbach.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story.
That's Kate and William, the royal couple. The royal wedding was coming up. And so they were told they wouldn't be able to cover them. So the royal family threatened Disney ABC with not being able to cover the royal wedding that everybody wanted to cover if they released this information. And now that we see today the arrest of Prince Andrew, we know why they were doing that. I'm going to back this up just a bit.
Afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. I had it all 3 years ago.
And yet she kept working with ABC and got promoted along the way. And I believe has 5 children. How outraged were you, Amy, really, that you were willing to continue
I've had the story
to work for a company, Disney ABC, that buries stories of pedophiles? What kind of investigative reporter are you? What kind of reporter are you, period? It doesn't seem like a very good one. Okay. So now some big news, by the way, today, folks. And this just happened. This is remarkable. I posted, wow, most transparent president ever because President Trump posted, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Do you like apples, folks? How about them apples? I mean, that's really something, right? I mean, this is going to get really good. And also, I thought I had this one queued up for you, but I got to show you this little gaggle with President Trump on Air Force One. This is really interesting. And listen to what he says about Barack Obama. Because Barack Obama, just FYI, if you don't, a lot of you don't follow Barack Obama, I got to follow him a bit so I can tell you what kind of bullshit he's up to. But he said something the other day in an interview about aliens. And then he kind of had to retract that in a tweet. So listen to what President Trump said.
Something that got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Well,
he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to. So
Well,
if you
maybe I'll
want to
get him
make
out
an
of trouble.
announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals. What else?
Based on what you've been told, what do you think happened to something that got a lot of attention this week? Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen?
So, that's Peter dropping a deuce right there. And yeah, Diana said the royal family is not human. So imagine if those files, that they're in those files too, not just the Epstein files, right? So very, very, very interesting, right? So I want to show you the coverage of this in case you haven't seen it. This was my first post of the day, I believe. Yeah. And let me share this with you.
And we have some breaking news, some stunning news out of London. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Prince Andrew, has been arrested, presumably in connection with his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Now, this is, Disney ABC, who sat on this for years while this child trafficking continued.
I want to go straight to our foreign correspondent, James Longman.
Hi, George. Yes, extraordinary news out of the UK this morning.
It's not extraordinary news for ABC News. You guys knew about this shit. The royal family stopped you from reporting it. They threatened you with not being able to interview William on his wedding. And what's her name?
Well, Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, has this morning been arrested on the Sandringham estate where he was living after having been removed, of course, from the home he was living in Windsor. The Thames Valley Police, the police here in the UK, put out a statement. They haven't named him specifically, but they are saying a man in his 60s has been arrested.
By the way, Prince Andrew, happy birthday to you, you scumbag. Happy birthday to you, you pedophile. Happy birthday, 66. Arrested with 6 cars, 666. Happy birthday, you piece of shit. And I hope the whole family fucking goes down.
part of the investigation, they say we have today arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office and are carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. They say the man remains in police custody at this time. They are not, like I say.
And you know what's crazy? They're not arresting him for pedophilia. Don't forget, we're talking about the UK Parliament. Oh, that's what was going on with my camera. I was trying to figure out. I had a wire underneath it that was making it unstable. He was arrested for sharing intelligence, classified intelligence. This is going to tie Epstein, as well as many other accounts that are coming out, with Israel. Okay. Saving Israel for last, but definitely not least. And so this is the UK where the Parliament just voted not only to not investigate the rape gangs in the UK, but they're going to delete the files. Unfortunately, Q said we have it all.
Naming Andrew, but we know that it is him. This pertains to emails, we believe, that were published recently in the most recent Epstein files published by the Department of Justice, which seem to suggest, they allege that Andrew was forwarding emails to Jeffrey Epstein whilst he was trade envoy here in the UK. Now, as a public official, that is misconduct. That is what the police are alleging. That's the charges that they presumably are bringing to him if they do indeed charge him. He is under arrest and remains in custody for that.
So ABC's covering that, but nothing about the pedophilia.
We will wait and see what further details they are yet to give us. But, you know, as trade envoy, he spent more than 10 years traveling around the world on behalf of the British government to kind of foment relationships with other countries to better Britain's kind of economic outlook, if you like. That was seen as a member of the royal family could do this. You know, his status would provide Britain with that kind of heft on the world stage. But the emails from the Department of Justice suggest that when he was in these conversations in places like Singapore, Hong Kong, I've got a list here in front of me of other countries that he went to, he would then have these kind of confidential documents in these emails, and then it looks like he was forwarding them on to Jeffrey Epstein, another one here from Vietnam, another from China. So if you look at the date on some of these emails as well, that is what is interesting. One of them here in front of me from 2010. Of course, that's well after Jeffrey Epstein had already faced charges for soliciting sex from a minor. So that goes to the heart of this entire issue around Andrew and Epstein. The relationship that he had with that convicted sex offender went far beyond the time which he said that he had broken all contact with him. People at home might remember the disastrous interview he gave in 2019 to the BBC, where he said that he had traveled to the United States, to New York, to sever his ties with Jeffrey Epstein, that he was there to basically explain to him that he no longer wanted to be in communication with him. These emails from the Department of Justice suggest that that was not true, that he basically lied about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein in that interview. He has always denied, we should say, any wrongdoing when it comes to the allegations about sex trafficking. Virginia Giuffre, of course, the individual who alleged that she was sex trafficked by Epstein for sex with Andrew, he has denied that strenuously. We haven't had comment from him or the palace on these latest allegations about emails to Jeffrey Epstein in his position as trade envoy. But one imagines that at some point today, Buckingham Palace will have to release some kind of statement. They are yet to comment. But we are in the extraordinary situation where the brother of the king has been arrested. To my mind, that has never happened in the modern history of the royal family. Certainly, this has shaken this country. It's been a long time coming. I think many people would look at this and say, Andrew should have faced justice a long time ago. Many others will say, well, this is a shock today to find that he's been arrested in this way.
There you have it. So that's, you know, never happened before, folks. So now things are happening that never happened before. The resignations,
and we have some breaking news, some stunning.
Yeah. And Mr. Poole posted this. The crown is falling and they can't stop it. February 18th, Buckingham Palace issued a statement to calm the world. Instead, it confirmed everything. The royal confession, King Charles through the palace press office. The royal family takes these matters with the utmost seriousness. Yeah, right. And is cooperating fully with all relevant inquiries. Yeah, they take these matters serious. They take pedophiles very seriously. Cooperating with inquiries, that means there are inquiries, active ones against the crown. For the first time in 1,000 years, the British monarchy is under investigation connected to a convicted child trafficker. What they're hiding. Prince Andrew didn't just fly on the Lolita Express. The files revealed he shared classified UK trade secrets with Epstein, a convicted sex offender with no security clearance. Again, this is why they got him. British intelligence is investigating whether state secrets were traded for access to Epstein's network. Bear with me here. I just want to check something real quick. There we go. Okay. Sarah Ferguson, 15,000 pound payment from Epstein after his first conviction. Beatrice and Eugenie, names in Epstein's private emails released February 4th. William demanded Charles strip Andrew of all titles. Charles refused. William went public. We are deeply concerned by the continuing revelations. The House of Windsor is at war with itself, but it's not just England. 72 hours, 8 countries watch. Norway, former PM Jagland raided. The man who gave Obama the Nobel Prize, charged. France, Minister of Culture raided. Government buildings stormed. Austria, Epstein-linked banker arrested, fled to Vienna, caught. Slovakia, security advisor resigned overnight, no explanation. Sweden, senior UN official resigned, Nobel Foundation connections. Dubai, DP World Chairman replaced, hundreds of Epstein emails. Philippines, Senate and House launched parallel investigations. 8 countries, 17 days, 1 document released. The pattern, every person who fell connected to the same network, not just trafficking, a global control system. Blackmail tapes to control politicians, financial. And by the way, this is why I said Jeffrey Epstein was still alive. Because for Epstein to have that much dirt on everyone, he would have a kill switch, because anybody that's got that kind of dirt on them, if you can kill them, then you can shut them up and you can stop the release of very, damning information about, people in charge. But they would know that Jeffrey has a kill switch, that if anything happens to him, that would all be released. Well, the White Hats took Jeff and got even more information out of him. And this is my opinion, and took control of the files so that they could release them in the way in which people would actually read them. These kind of things are still popping up. Brian Allen says, major breaking, lawmakers say Trump's personal lawyers, Bondi, Blanche, and Patel, who all worked for him privately, withheld or redacted an estimated 95% of references to Donald Trump in the Epstein files, roughly 950,000 of the 1 million plus mentions per staff calculations. If accurate, this is one of the largest political cover-ups ever carried out against the public. Now, remember, I've told you that the reason why they're still having redactions is because people are still digging and trying to find Trump, and that was obvious by that testimony of what do you call it, of Leslie Wexner in front of Congress, and Jasmine Crockett trying to get him over and over and over again. Trump, 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 Trump. And he's like, no, 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 no. So he never had a kill switch that released those files. Financial leverage to control banks, royal connection. And by the way, that financial leverage would now be had by the White Hats, wouldn't it? Royal connections to government, control governments. We're seeing that unfold. Media access to control the narrative. We're seeing that unfold. For 40 years, this machine ran the world. Presidents obeyed, kings protected it, banks funded it, media covered it up. Until one man said, release everything. 3 million pages, 180,000 images, 2,000 videos, no redactions for embarrassment, no protection for royalty, no mercy for the machine. March 1st, 2026, the next wave. Bondi confirmed the next release is coming. 318 public names were the warning. The secret list, names redacted for active law enforcement, is the weapon. The Crown knows what's coming. The deep state knows what's coming, and none of them can stop it. The empire is crumbling, dark to light. And that was from Mr. Poole today. I thought that was well covered right there. It may not to be the original Mr. Poole, but let me give a follow there just to make sure. Check that later. So yeah, my friends, wow, this is big. And speaking of the UK, President Trump is bypassing the government censorship of the UK. The US State Department is developing an online portal that will enable people in Europe and elsewhere to access content banned by their governments, including hate speech and terrorist propaganda. The site will be hosted at freedom.com, that from Reuters. And when you go to freedom.com, you see freedom is coming, information is power, reclaim your human right to free expression, get ready. Freedom is coming, and this is the site. All right. Very exciting. So with all this royal family in the news, all the rape gang with the parliament vote in the news, the monarch is crumbling, England is crumbling, and it's happening at a very, very rapid pace. Okay. Okay. Let me share an exciting thing for you, for any of you who follow the, let's just take a calm break and go to some Olympic news, which is right here. And this is the women's hockey, U.S. versus Canada in overtime. Next goal wins, USA in blue.
The outlet pass for Keller, a defenseman. Nice move, cuts to the net, score! Megan Keller, the overtime hero, United States, wins gold in Milan. The outlet pass for Keller, a defenseman. Nice move, cuts to the net, score!
What a move. What a move. Congratulations, U.S. women's hockey. And by the way, this was Canada's response to that. This will keep Canada safe. Minister Lena Diab. Canada launches new immigration category for the armed forces to allow recruits from the Chinese Communist Party and other foreign adversaries to merge with Canada's military. This is treason. We are under attack. Listen to this.
And finally, we are creating a new category for skilled military recruits to attract highly skilled foreign military applicants. Eligible recruits with a job offer from the Canadian Armed Forces, including doctors, nurses, pilots, can be invited to apply for permanent residence. They will be subject to the same security and all military requirements. This new category will support our government's commitment to strengthen our armed forces, to defend our sovereignty, and to keep Canadians safe. This category and other priority categories supports Canada's defense industrial strategy, which Prime Minister Carney announced yesterday by adding a range of workers critical to support our sovereignty and security.
Wow. The Chinese Women's Army marching, and but the U.S. Women's Army won gold. And yeah, and a New Braunfels woman won gold at 41. What was that? Was that the luge? Maggie, could you remind me of that? Because I'm not paying attention to it at all. Oh, man. Gino, my cousin recently died from ALS. Terrible way to go. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. That is a terrible way to go, man. Terrible way to go. Lisa says, is this suicide week, Dave? You know, Lisa, that's a really good question. You know, I listen, I'd be lying if I said I know, right? But it certainly is near if we're not there now, wouldn't you say? I mean, look at what is popping right now. And people, I think the resignations, stepping down, I think that's going to happen first. I think the suicide is going to happen before they get picked up. Okay. And I want to go back to the testimony of Wexner, because this is the kind of stuff that's going to cause such a suicide weekend or suicide week. Suicide weekend is actually the, no, they have suicide week too. But listen to this. So Leslie Wexner is giving kind of long, drawn out questions, and I want you to listen to his lawyer.
Regularly done. Answer another question. 5 words, okay?
I will fucking kill you if you answer another question with more than 5 words again.
Answer another question. 5 words, okay? Answer the question.
And then he says, answer the question. But he doesn't want him to elaborate. Why wouldn't this man want him to elaborate? Well, let's find out. Diligent Denizen did some nice work on this. This is Diligent Denizen. Okay. Didn't mean to click on that. Meant to drop it down so you could see who this is. All right. And Epstein's benefactor, billionaire Leslie Wexner, was told, I'm going to fucking kill you if you answer another question with more than 5 words on a hot mic. And how's this not, that guy not in jail? So he says Leslie Wexner's attorney, who threatened to kill him during this congressional Epstein interview, Michael Levy, appears to be mentioned in the Epstein emails, worked at the White House under Clinton, was involved with Exxon, FTX, and more. Are we looking at the mob? This is Mark Lloyd. Please note, Michael Levy was with Bankers Trust before moving to Deutsche Bank, where he was head of asset management. He was a White House fellow during this time. Okay. September 93 to August 94, 1 year. And this one was, let's see, where is he? Given your huge, this is Jeffrey from Mark Lloyd. And he says, given your huge experience in this world, I would value your opinion of it, because you might know one of the founder investors, Michael Levy. He used to be very big in Credit Suisse, First Boston, and also Robert Bass has invested through his Oak Hill Capital Partners Fund. So So he's in these emails, not necessarily implicated in the way that we might think, but this is getting to the banking infrastructure. This is getting to the heart of what has driven this whole thing, and that's going to be very, very big. That alone, and I'm very excited to see those things coming out. Um, let's watch this here regarding Epstein as well.
Nous, ce qui se passe dès 2019, quelle violence innocence en danger et sur quels soupçons?
Alors, dès 2019, la présidente de l'association, Madame Oméra Cellier, reçoit divers témoignages de jeunes.
This is when his apartment was investigated, right? And this was his New York apartment, which, by the way, supposedly is the biggest apartment in New York City. It's huge. And by the way, Howard Lutnick of Cantor Fitzgerald, who's working closely with President Trump, was a next door neighbor to Jeffrey Epstein in this place. And supposedly he bought the place for $10. Sergio says that we learned that in 2019, Epstein's apartment in which assaults and rapes were committed was indeed searched, and the law enforcement officers were particularly shocked by what they saw. Since then, the case was dropped without further action and silence. And the most disturbing thing is that the 4 investigators in charge of the Brunel Epstein case were assassinated on October 3rd, 2019, at the Paris Police Prefecture. Hello. Okay. Also, let's remember this brave woman, Virginia Giuffre, who came out against Epstein quite a while ago. And she, too, was murdered. She said, "I'm not suicidal." And here she is. This is, I hope she's still around, because what a shame if she's not. What a shame that she doesn't get to see. Virginia Giuffre reveals Epstein trafficked her to Andrew. Watch who's interviewing her.
I was so young. Keelan woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Club Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, "Let's dance together." And I was like, "Okay." And we leave Club Tramp, and I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Jeffrey. And Ghislaine said, "He's coming back to the house. And I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein." I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
The woman who's been filling the news for the past few weeks is interviewing her, right? And this, of course, is her mother has been missing. What the hell's her name? Help me out here, folks. I can't stand her, but let's see some bits of her.
Talk to her and you'll see.
Savannah Guthrie, the NBC journalist whose mom was kidnapped February 1st, was the same American to interview primary Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre in 2019. And she challenged Donald Trump in 2020 on the QAnon pedophile conspiracy theories. So it's a little bizarre how all these storylines have come together in the past week, with Trump offering the full resources of the federal government to help Guthrie. Listen. In 2019, Guthrie interviewed Giuffre about Prince Andrew and Epstein.
And I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein.
But during the 2020 presidential election debates, Guthrie challenged Trump on claims that there was a pedophile ring, sounding an awfully lot like what we are seeing in the latest Epstein file releases.
It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep state. Senator Ben Sass said, quote, QAnon is nuts and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories. Why not just say it's crazy and not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know.
Lastly, after her mother is kidnapped, Samantha Guthrie reads a statement that almost identically echoes a scene from the 1991 horror film, The Silence of the Lambs.
She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. You are God's
She's telling us.
precious daughter.
It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
Under Fire News covered that, put that clip together. Great stuff. Yeah, this is it's all coming together, my friends. It's all being revealed. It's very much and her expression in that interview too was very telling. She wasn't shocked. She didn't go deeper. She didn't ask more about Andrew, right? Yeah. So so let's go to this board of peace that President Trump held today. To me, this is the replacement of the UN, and this is very much like I've been telling you that Trump is going to get rid of the UN for a very, very long time. And in showing his speeches at the UN, his criticisms of the UN, and the straw, if you will, that broke. Hold on. Sorry, guys. My microphone accidentally unplugged when I was. Let me try that again. Okay. You hearing me 5-5? When did you lose me? Could you let me know that? And I'll cover that again. But basically, this what's dropping here, the briefing 17, Europol just quietly dropped another bombshell. Operation Pelican, 129 charged, 103 arrests, 36 synthetic drug labs dismantled across Ukraine, Poland, and Moldova. This comes weeks after Operation Fabrica, which nuked another 24 labs and seized 9 tons of synthetics and thousands tons of precursors across the EU. That's 60 plus labs taken off the board in one quarter. all tied into the same East Central European corridors we've been watching for weapons, trafficking, and aid logistics. They'll sell this as just another drug bust, but zoom out. Synthetic networks, cash flow, laundering rails, and covert logistics. Ukraine, Poland, Moldova isn't random geographically, it's a choke point. This looks a lot less like chaos and a lot more like a systematic teardown of infrastructure. The global purge isn't just about politicians and bankers, it's about cutting the arteries that kept the whole underground economy alive. Home Ranger 17 was responsible for this first post. And this is the showing. And I have said that the Russian war cannot end until you. Okay, thank you, Diane. I appreciate that feedback. That these bioweapons labs have to be exposed in Ukraine. The money laundering of the Democrats has to be exposed in Ukraine. The money that went back into FTX from Ukrainian war money, the private cars in Monaco that Don Jr. talked about, all these Ukrainian delegates and all these Ukrainian politicians driving supercars that they own with the money that we sent. And of course, last but not least, the human trafficking that has been occurring in the UK, and then the rise of this communist Nazi ideology. So, this is going to continue, okay, and until Ukraine surrenders, because we have to get to the bottom of that. Now, I want to take you to one of today's deltas, and I'm going to go over some of the others, but this is really big, okay? This is post 2816, okay? The declassification of all requested documents and more will occur, okay? What did we hear today? We heard about the declassification of the alien files that President Trump asked for, okay? We are hearing more declassification of Epstein coming out, okay? We are finding out more about Obama and declassification of some of his things, and not to mention, Crossfire Hurricane, the attempt to take out a sitting presidential candidate and then eventually sitting president. This is not a game. Do not let personal emotional desires do it now. What is taking so long now take over. This is what I've been preaching for 7 years, folks. Logical thinking and strategy should always be applied. Game theory. We all want to see equal justice under the law. New threats, investigations by the Southern District of New York, Adam Schiff, Maxine Waters, in an effort to delay, prevent, release, insurance extension will fail. Okay? The threats of what? Impeachment, the threat of the 25th Amendment invoking against President Trump, all of it. And now, by the way, the investigations of like Jasmine Crockett today trying to find out if Trump is in the Epstein files, and people still trying to say that these redactions are those of President Trump's team protecting him. Transparency is the only way forward. This is my post today. This is the most transparent president in U.S. history. He's released the JFK files, the 9/11 files. He's released the Epstein files. Now he's going to release the alien files. What did the JFK files point to? Israel. Okay. What are the Epstein files pointing to? Israel. Okay. It's not hard to see this. All right. It's not a mystery here. Okay. This was Wexner, okay, talking about who Jeffrey Epstein worked for and who Jeffrey Epstein bragged or said he worked for. Not our words. Jeffrey Epstein's to Leslie Wexner.
When you first met Epstein, how did he originally present himself to you? What services did he say he was offering?
Well, when I first met him, it was just hello, and he didn't represent anything, and I didn't ask anything. I was just meeting a friend's acquaintance.
As that business relationship became closer and you eventually hired him, I assume he pitched his services in some way. What was his way of framing what he was offering to you?
I think it was his experience at an industrial level, like working for a big company like Bear Stearns, and then he had done personal work for the Rothschild family in France.
Personal wealth management, essentially?
I don't know.
Now, he says he doesn't know. Meanwhile, that was muted. You guys didn't hear that? Some of you, YouTube, you hear him just fine. What platform were you guys on? This guy is from Ohio, New Albany, to be exact. He has spent a lot of money with the area hospitals, Ohio State Children's Hospital. He has spent a lot of money to put a fence around New Albany. And when I say a fence, I'm talking about a white picket fence that borders the Route 16 that goes through New Albany. You have a white picket fence that starts and ends at the beginning and end of New Albany. He has put a lot of money into the downtown area. But this man gave Jeffrey Epstein, I think the figure was something like $70 million. But the problem there is that why would you give somebody $70 million unless you knew everything about them? He knew everything about Jeffrey Epstein. He knew what he did for the Rothschilds. He knew how he was connected to the Rothschilds. And let's look at some of the connections of the Rothschilds. So Liz Crokin posted the Rothschild family at the top of the Jeffrey Epstein pyramid. Les Wexner said in his deposition, here we go. And there was 5-5 on Rumble on that billionaire Wexner, that he worked for the Rothschild family. Hillary Clinton was also answering to Lynn Forrester de Rothschild as she was serving as her Secretary of State. In an email released by WikiLeaks, Hillary asked Lynn what penance she owes her. Lynn is also connected to Pizzagate losers James Elefantis and David Brock, who, by the way, James Elefantis was interviewed by Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly completely gaslit him and made him a victim. So that's why I can't listen to Megyn Kelly other than expose her. But back in the early days of exposing Pizzagate, accounts exposing Lynn would get heavily censored or shut down. The Rothschild family are higher up in the Epstein ring. Now, I've showed you this email between Hillary Clinton, Lynn Forrester de Rothschild. I understand it may not be possible, but thought I would check. In any event, I remain your loyal, adoring pal. That was from Lynn de Rothschild's. And Hillary Clinton wrote her back, was trying to reach you to tell you and Teddy that I asked Tony Blair to go to Israel as part of our full court press on keeping the Middle East negotiations going. He told me that he had a commitment in Aspen with you two and the conference, but after we talked, he decided to go and asked me to tell you he's very sorry, obviously, but I'm grateful that he accepted my request. This is very important, getting out to Israel. I hope you all understand, give him a rain check. If you were interested, he might be able to satellite in if you have the technology available. He should land around 5 a.m. Aspen time. Let me know what penance I owe you, and please explain to Teddy as ever, H. Hillary. right? And this is the two of them. This is her with David Brock, okay, who is the husband of James Elefantis and the people behind Pizzagate, okay? Now, let me take you to this post by Nathan Jugan, United We Stand, okay, who says, in addition to Epstein, Rothschild is on International Leadership Board for McCain Institute. Cindy McCain infamously admitted on tape that she and her elitist pals all knew about Epstein and did nothing. Linda Rothschild happens to be on the board of directors for Bronfman, E.L. Rothschild LP. Sarah and Claire Bronfman were lead members of Keith Raniere's NXIVM cult, which was comprised of major donors to Hillary Clinton. Robert Maxwell was business partners with Charles Bronfman, who formed the mega group alongside Les Wexner. So they're all connected, folks, all connected. Matthew Bronfman, the Bronfman dynasty, the Rothschilds of New York. Only one book, only one family could follow the Canadian establishment, a story that has never been told. And these are the connections. Bronfman connections to sex trafficking. Matthew connected Epstein through Rothschild. They own a business together. Rothschild's husband is also in Epstein's Black Book. Dershowitz was put into contact with Epstein through Lynn Rothschild. Lynn was very heavy Hillary supporter in 2016 election. See WikiLeaks. Edgar Bronfman on Epstein's Black Book. Charles Bronfman is brother to Edgar Bronfman Sr. Robert Maxwell was business partners with Charles in media acquisition as father of Ghislaine. Wexner supplied money to Epstein and girls. Wexner formed Mega Group with Charles Bronfman. And Claire and Sarah Bronfman charged with running sex cult NXIVM, which involves slavery, human trafficking, and pedophilia. That was disgusting. They kept underage girls locked. One girl they kept locked in her room for over, I believe, like a year or something like that. I saw the breakdown. It's unbelievable. This takes us to Mossad and Ehud Barak, my friends. Okay. Prince Andrew over here, Tony Blair, Keir Starmer is caught up in this. Hillary Clinton, Lynn, Epstein, Bill, Geldof, Children's Charities, Ghislaine, Robert, Planet 24. It's all coming out, folks. And none of this, and none of this would ever be coming out were it not for President Trump being elected. I just shared that on my timeline, so you can find that. And these are, this is from Mario Nafal. These are some of the takedowns of the Epstein files just so far. And they haven't even released most of them. Several big names have stepped down amid the fallout from the massive Epstein docs release. Key resignations: Thomas Pritzker, who is, Governor Pritzker's brother, and the Hyatt executive chairman resigned from Hyatt Hotels, citing terrible judgment and maintaining ties with Epstein. Terrible judgment. That's your crime? I don't think so. We're going to find out. Kathy Rumler, Goldman Sachs chief legal officer, resigned from Goldman Sachs after scrutiny over her Epstein communications and gifts. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, I covered this, DP World CEO, resigned from DP World after emails showed years of correspondence with Epstein. Again, terrible judgment. That's the crime? I don't think so. Folks, you don't step down because of terrible judgment. You step down because you've committed crimes against children. That's why they're stepping down, because they want to get out of the spotlight. They failed. They lost. Trump won. Brad Karp, Paul Weiss law firm chairman, resigned from Paul Weiss after emails revealed his Epstein ties. Larry Summers, Harvard president and OpenAI board of directors, stepped down from OpenAI board and Harvard-related roles after Epstein connections resurfaced. I got to show you something on AI too that's getting pretty wild. Peter Mandelson, British politician and also the U.S. Embassy the ambassador to the U.S. Lost position as UK ambassador to the U.S. over Epstein links. Morgan McSweeney, Downing Street Chief of Staff, resigned as UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Chief of Staff over Mandelson-Epstein scandal. Tim Allen, Downing Street Director of Comms, resigned as UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Communications Director amid the Mandelson-Epstein fallout. Miroslav Lazjak, Slovak National Security Advisor, resigned from his role after Epstein files showed exchanges about young women. Sarah Ferguson, former Duchess of York, faced consequences, including stepping back from public roles and royal duties amid renewed Epstein scrutiny. Jack Lang, head of Arab World Institute in France, resigned from the institute after Epstein ties surfaced, leading to a financial investigation. Carolyn Lang, head of independent production in France, resigned from France's independent production union after Epstein links as Jack Lang's daughter surfaced. David A. Ross, School of Visual Arts chairman, resigned from his position at School of Visual Arts. Joanna Rubinstein, chair of Sweden for UNHCR, resigned from Sweden for UNHCR after a 2012 visit to Epstein's island surfaced. Most had ongoing contact with Epstein even after his 2008 conviction. Some are under scrutiny or investigation. The list is growing fast. Yes, it is. It is growing fast. Epstein built friendly relations with Border Patrol officers in the U.S. Virgin Islands while he was allegedly trafficking there. These connections were serious enough that after his death, the FBI opened a criminal investigation into the interactions. His influence wasn't just about money. It was about who picked up the phone. So I'm going to reshare this on my timeline so you can get that and repost that. But wow, folks, is it getting good? It is getting good. The dominoes are falling, Cindy. It's far from over, in my opinion. We got a lot coming. Iron skillet popcorn with real butter, salt, and Dublin Dr. Pepper. Gusto, that sounds awesome. Whip and Spur, all will be exposed. Who has seen that? By the way, the videos have come out. Ernie, I haven't done it, because I don't want to see these videos. I know that just horrendous things. I don't need to see more evidence of horrendous things happening. And I want you to all be careful. You can take a lot of the PDFs and you take off the PDF file at the end and you add MP4 and a video will play of the atrocities against children. And it's not for the faint of heart, my friends. This is something that you will, and this is about. I really like this guy's take. This is kind of human nature in general that we have to keep in check. Because listen to what this guy says.
People think the world's gone to hell, that it's gotten so violent. But the world never got violent. There is no got. The world has been violent since the beginning. Cain killed Abel, man. Cain killed Abel. The third person on the planet killed the fourth person on the planet. We weren't even able to make it to 3 people before somebody was a murderer. At one time, a third of the people on the planet were murderers, right? A third of the people in the hood aren't murderers. A third of the people who own guns aren't murderers. A third of the people in jail aren't even murderers, right? San Quentin, Alcatraz, Folsom Prison are safer than the book of Genesis. You thought Compton and Baghdad were tough? Try downtown Eden when the sun goes down. There was murder and violence at person 3. One couple had 2 boys who had the world to themselves, and one of them was claiming this town ain't big enough for the 2 of us, right? Cain killed 25% of the world's population. That's more than Stalin, Hitler, Idi Amin, Pol Pot, King Herod, Genghis Khan, Manifest Destiny, typhoid, cancer, AIDS, cooties, all combined. Cain killed a third of the people he knew. He knew 3 people. He killed one of them. If you knew Cain, you had a 66 2/3% chance of survival. There's no such thing as the good old days. There was like one good day. It was half a day. Adam and Eve were naked, alone, in an oasis. Lunchtime came. People got hungry. Apples were eaten. Boom, Detroit.
I mean, I don't know whether to laugh or cry, my friends. This is pretty pretty funny. Diane Parks, I celebrate 30 years of sobriety this month. It's a really good time to be sober, folks. Diane, congratulations. And I tip my hat to you, my dear, for such a commitment and such a journey and such a success. And I tell you, folks, you're gonna want to be alert for what's coming. Okay. And there's certainly going to be times when we might feel like, oh my God, I just want to climb inside a bottle because of the terrible things that are being revealed. But please understand that the terrible things are being revealed so that we can move on into a brighter day, into a brighter future. I want to take us back to the Delta, because this Delta is so perfect for today and everything that's happening. Transparency is the only way forward, right? And I've told you many times on this program that the only way forward is military was written twice on the Q drops. Drop 26, which was reshared later, and also another drop that explains it. And so there were 3 mentions of the military as the only way forward. There were 20 mentions of transparency, accountability, and justice. And I told you the reason why there were 20 to 3 is because this has to happen first in order for us to accept the military, in order for us to ask for the military, in order for us to understand that the military is there for our protection and for the liberation of this earth, just like it was there in Saudi Arabia during the purge. So transparency is the only way forward. Define the following: treason, sedition, subversion, conspiracy to commit. What are they going after Prince Andrew for? Treason. Not pedophilia. They're not going after him for that because they couldn't give a shit about that, obviously. The UK could not, the leadership in the UK could not give a shit about what is being done to the children in that nation. Subversion, conspiracy to commit. Do you understand and fully appreciate the gravity of the situation? Do you understand and fully appreciate what POTUS endures each and every single day? Look at just today, Jasmine Crockett asking, was Trump in there? Did you meet Trump? Was he at the parties? Was he there? They're absolutely, the only reason they're going into the Epstein files is because they think that Trump is there, and this continuing rollout of the redactions is to make them think that Trump is being redacted, and it's working because they're looking deeper and deeper and deeper. And what they're coming out with has nothing to do with Trump and has everything to do with all these other scumbags that is going to break this cabal. He loves this country. He loves you. We must stand together in this fight. There is evil in this world. There is darkness in this world. There are those in power who wish to control, enslave you, to keep you sedated, to keep you unaware, to keep you blind. This will be on our timetable, and we will deliver. Transparency and prosecution, there is simply no other way except one. Military. That's going to get it done because the judiciary is obviously corrupt, right? So I also want to take you to this. This is a very significant post that Dan Scavino put up today. And that is Dan's post. And I'm going to take you to it first. Advice: do not blame the Presidential Personnel Office for your failure to pay federal taxes over multiple years during a background investigation while claiming you did. These are some of the people that have gotten paid and that have not paid federal taxes, showing a complete lack of candor and failing to produce sufficient documentation as requested. Meanwhile, you're running around telling everyone who will listen in Washington, D.C. and beyond. By the way, the only people that are listening to these people in Washington, D.C. are the fake news, the mainstream media, the Mockingbird media. That you've gone above and beyond in doing so, and how wonderful you are, not the first person to do so. Get a grip, be honest with yourself, and stop blaming PPO for your past when you are not extended an offer due to not being able to obtain a security clearance for a position. Be open and honest to those that put their name on your referral for a job. It doesn't look good for them when you blow smoke up everyone's ass and they call asking what happened with blank. It's embarrassing. Be honest. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Dan. Okay. So that's the post. That was at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time, 62 capital letters, and then I mirrored that. Let's look at this. This is drop 11:11, right? Very godlike, God numbers, right? It's a second repost of April 9th, 2018. This was quick, just did bullet 2, session public attack about 20 minutes ago live. Next, Rod Rosenstein. Also repost from April 9th. Yes, plan seems to be moving right along, context. And then this long drawn out post. Forgot to post this along with original post. April, A. Okay. IG report, sessions public attack, Rod Rosenstein problems, seals broken. Okay, seals broken. What do we have over 600,000 of? Sealed indictments. Seals are being broken as we speak. They're being unsealed. Arrests. Why was Huber made public? That was the prosecutor in Utah that Jeff Sessions hired. And Huber is the one who has been most responsible for these 600 plus sealed indictments. And a sealed indictment, folks, as you know, we gather up all the evidence. We go before a judge, we show the judge the evidence of this person and their crimes, and the judge says, yes, I will issue a indictment for this person. But they ask for it to be sealed because they're also going to get this person, and this person along with this person. They don't want these people to be spooked by knowing that this person is being indicted. Why now? Everything has meaning. Awan, the Awan brothers. Okay, the Awan brothers is also the post when somebody asked about the Awan brothers, and Q said, we're saving Israel for last. Now, these are Pakistani brothers that are tied to Israel. And they had all the computers for all the secretaries of Congress. So they were getting all this information. What is Congress working on? What are they doing? How can we control them? Tarmac, that's Bill and Loretta Lynch and the Hillary emails that were stopped being investigated, but then they were threatened and told that they had a reporter there, and there was a phone present, and the NSA has that whole conversation and had recategorized it, Q told us, so that they couldn't find it and so that they'd be able to keep it and use it against them later. That conversation, folks, I can't wait for that. Iran, what's happening? What are we doing in the Middle East right now? We are threatening Iran. President Trump is saying that over the next 10 days, he's going to decide whether or not to engage with Iran. A lot going on over there. And by the way, it wouldn't take much because the people are ready for change. North Korea. Okay. North Korea pledged military support of Iran. Kim Jong-un did. That's not going to play well. Uranium 1. This is why North Korea has to do this, because if we go into Iran, we're going to find out about, where Barry's money that he took and gave to Iran in the Iran deal. We're going to find out where that money went. We're also going to find where the uranium went from the Uranium 1 deal signed by Obama and Clinton as Secretary of State. And that uranium went to Iran and North Korea. And that's why those are the only two places that President Trump has bombed significantly. And they don't even ask about North Korea, but we were responsible. Q said that we were responsible. No one asked if we were responsible for that. The collapse of the mountain, where Trump said maybe there were nuclear scientists under there. That's where the uranium one went. FBI, DOJ, Mueller, election integrity. Trump talked about that again today. Immigration bill, border, wall, military start, big month. Q. Then Q follows up with amazing coincidence plus military start wall. You have more than you know. Reason we are here more. And this was April 9th, 2018. That was from Dan Scavino's timestamp of his post. Okay. Now the capital letter count was 24 capital letters. Actually, I think it was 42. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Did I get that wrong? I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to redo that, folks. I think I might have. I did this earlier today. Might have done it before I had a decent cup of coffee. So let me redo Dan's original post, and I'll do the capital letter count, and we'll get to the bottom of this here very quickly. Let me go to Snedheads. Join us over there, folks, if you haven't done already. It's free to join, $17 a month to support this community. Stop being a small fish in a vast ocean of surveillance of social media. Mark Zuckerberg in front of Congress again today about the addiction that is caused by Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels. Let's go to Research the Q Drops, which is a great tool that you can use. And we're going to go to the capital letter count. And we're going to put in, well, I guess I got to do a better job of capturing that. Let me do that. Maybe I did not at all. So let's get a capital letter count going here and post that in. So this is Dan's post. Sincerely, Dan. Number of capital letters, 42. I misspoke on my post, but it was actually 42. So I might have done the dive correctly. So let me go to 42. We serve at the pleasure of the president, DJT. Okay. And then Dan's 24, think mirror. Any person making statements they will not be seeking re-election was put in submission. For the betterment of the country, not all will be prosecuted, and all will do as told by the White Hats. You will see more of this occur, not normal yet disregarded, and even on the Democrat side. So that's a straight up calm from Dan Scavino on the things that are happening, the things that are being revealed, and I got to say, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch this unfold and to be vindicated for all the times in which we were telling people years and years ago about what was really going on, and having people thinking that we were out of our freaking minds. It's not fun. Okay. And check this out. This was at the Board of Peace today. Okay. Insider paper says stage all set. QAG.news, which is one of the great posts that we have on Snedheads. As far as QAG.news, you can click on QAG.news and you can go to QAG and you can use that as a Q search tool. Okay. And, but let me take you back to, this. Stage set. That was a cue drop, right? Okay, I want to address that in a second. I want to address the glyphosate situation. So listen to this.
I think we have to smile. A lot of good things happen. Does
Again.
everybody like the music? Yeah, it's a perfect song. That's good music.
YMCA, yes.
There's Jared Kushner, Nancy Wiles, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, and all these leaders. So when he said, "Do you like the music?" Right? It was a Cold November Rain by Guns N' Roses. All right, and let me see, I have that somewhere. And the lyrics are very interesting. Let me just pull it up myself. I had pulled it up here. Let's see. There was no video on that. My apologies, folks. My apologies. Let me get back to that video. Where did you go, Joe DiMaggio? Okay, where the hell did that go? Where the hell is it? Okay. Okay, I completely botched that. It was basically President Trump on stage with all the leaders of the Board of Peace, and A Cold November Rain was playing by Guns N' Roses. Let me go to lyrics. Okay. And let me take you there. All right. When I look into your eyes, I see love restrained, but darling, when I hold you, don't you know I feel the same? Because nothing lasts forever, and we know hearts can change. It's hard to hold a candle in the cold November rain, which, is possibly an inference to a storm. All right. We've been through such a long, long time just trying to kill the pain. Oh, yeah, but lovers always come and lovers always go, and no one's really sure who's letting go today. If we could take the time to lay it on the line, I could rest my head just knowing that you were mine, all mine. So if you want to love me, then darling, don't refrain, or I'll just end up walking in the cold November rain. Do you need some time on your own? Do you need some time all alone? Ooh, everybody needs some time on their own. Oh, don't you know you need some time all alone? I know it's hard to keep an open heart, but even friends seem out to harm you. But if you could heal a broken heart, wouldn't time be out to charm you? Sometimes I need time on my own. And when your fears subside and shadows still remain, oh yeah, I know that you can love me when there's no one left to blame. So never mind the darkness, we can still find a way, because nothing lasts forever, and even the cold November rain. So, was this just music playing in the background? Well, it rarely is without some, without some way of communicating with us, the Anons. And so we look at everything because they're constantly communicating with us. The Chicago Bears are moving to Indiana. I wonder why. This is the mayor of Chicago.
Is my face straight? Okay. All right. Keep a straight face here.
Is my face straight? I'm going to keep a straight face here.
The Bears belong in the city of Chicago. The Chicago Bears belong in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
Right. And I've said repeatedly that the door is always open for conversations, and, Kevin Warren did call me yesterday. We didn't get a chance to connect.
Kevin Warren called me yesterday. We didn't get a chance to connect, meaning he didn't take his call.
And I still firmly believe that their best position is in Chicago, and it's evidence. The evidence is clearly speaking for itself. Is my face straight?
Oh my God. So I said, a private business has zero obligation to be anywhere, just like Hollywood going to Canada back in the day because it was far less expensive than to shoot in California and the US, but continued to represent on screen that they were in the US cities necessary for the story. If anybody should spark an IQ test for all government leadership positions, it's this clown. Yeah. Yeah. What a tragedy for Chicago, that it has the leadership of Pritzker, it has the leadership of Johnson, and these guys are absolute freaking clowns, and they are trying their damnedest, okay, to Chairman of the Intelligence Advisory Board, Devin Nunes. I'm going to take you to that. This is, I tell you, folks, it's all being revealed, and I just can't stop saying that because it's so fantastic.
I'm going to try to get out as much of this information and get it declassified as possible.
So you believe that they raided Mar-a-Lago because they were looking for this? They were looking for the intelligence community assessment, your report on Russia's influence campaign targeting the 2016 presidential election. That's why they raided Mar-a-Lago?
I believe it had to be one of the things that they were looking for, because look, that report is pretty damning. If people take the time to read it, it's 45 pages. It spent, we had a dedicated team that spent nearly 2 years down at the CIA looking through this. It was blocked from getting out, and the reason that report is so important, right? That's, let's just dumb it down. Simply put, we went through every single piece of intelligence that existed, and if anything, it was clear that if Putin was going to do anything, he probably wanted Hillary Clinton to win. But in fact, if you just apply a little common sense to it, the fact was that nobody around the world thought that President Trump was going to win in 2016. Same with Vladimir Putin. He didn't either. And so when you go through that, that was the intelligence. Every piece of intelligence that existed we went through it. It's in that report. And so, and what do we know? What do we, after all this, after all, Trump and Russia and collusion, the two people that didn't collude? Trump and Russia.
Yeah, exactly. And Obama's going down. This is from Whiplash 347. Wow, about time the media is showing how Obama's birth certificate was changed. He was never born in the U.S., was never a real president. Everything he signed will be reversed. It's all making sense now. This is a local Phoenix Fox News 10, and it shows, and by the way, this first happened in Phoenix because Sheriff Arpaio hired a forensics graphic designer that is used in court cases and so forth, who voted for Obama twice, by the way. And he found that Obama's birth certificate was never a paper document. They took from an existing scanned paper document, but they just lifted out of one and put into his. And so these are local news that are now showing this local news that was once just firmly, protecting these people, now have to come out and show some of this stuff. Let's see. Yeah, sad to see the legacy like the Bears be pushed out of Chicago, but also know that the New York Giants went to New Jersey and played in the Meadowlands, and so that was something that happened because they got a better deal with the Meadowlands, but it was really the New Jersey Giants, not the New York Giants, because of where they played, right? Um, and so, okay, so let's discuss for a moment the executive order. And let's go to Snedheads. Okay, let's go to um, another tool here, which is the Q and X and Truth feeds. Okay, you'll see my X feed, Dan Scavino, both his personal and the White House, Donald Trump, and then we have the White House. Okay, and under news, um, Trump finalizes trade deal with Indonesia, bringing back the American dream of home ownership. Um, let me see. Promoting the national defense by ensuring an adequate supply of elemental phosphorus and glyphosate-based herbicides. Now, here's the way I look at this. Okay. Now, everyone's saying, "Oh, he is he's hurting our food supply," right? But just understand the steps that have been taken, okay, to make changes. He didn't come in day one ban all forced vaccination for childhood. He didn't come in and ban the mRNA vaccine. He didn't come in and ban all the food, all the shit in our food and all that. But step by step by step, all of that is being changed and all of that is being revealed. This is one of them. Okay. This is to reveal the problem, but there's also, you can't just, I heard something like a very large percentage of American farmers would go out of business if they stopped using glyphosate. And they also have elemental phosphorus is a critical precursor element for production of glyphosate-based herbicides, which plays a critical role in maintaining America's agriculture advantage by enabling farmers to efficiently and cost-effectively produce food and livestock feed. As the most widely used crop protection tools in the United States are agriculture, glyphosate-based herbicides are a cornerstone of this nation's agricultural productivity and rural economy. So this is very interesting because it's almost like if he came in and banned oil, like the Democrats tried to do. Coming in and banning oil would have been very detrimental to our nation and to the world. And so this is a step in, I believe, in the awareness that we have of this and the blowback that President Trump is going to get on this is going to be significant. But it's one of those things where, like the additives in the food, they have to be taken out slowly because otherwise these companies will go out of business, and we don't want that either. So I'm not too worried about that. I want to take you back to Sidney Powell and what she shared. So I'm going to shift gears here, and I want to play this for you. Yeah. That's what Q told us. Folks, are you not getting audio on her? Let me try that. Let me try to share that again. My apology. I don't know what's going on. Let me try this again.
Very clear violations of the Espionage Act and really no issue about intent, despite President Obama proclaiming otherwise. And of course, you realize the reason that Hillary had to be protected was because he was writing her on that secret server using an alias, which showed.
Oh, this is unbelievable. All right, so you don't have audio. So let me show you the. Some of you are getting 5.5. It looks like Rumble is not. Live streaming on X. X is experiencing issues with live streaming posts. If you can't find your live in X, you can manually post it by following our guide. That was posted 3 days ago, and that's the issue I've been having with X showing up when I go live on my platform. You're getting 5.5 now? Okay. I'm gonna get rid of the banner just in case, so you could read the words. Let me back it up just a bit.
Obama proclaiming otherwise. And of course, you realize the reason that Hillary had to be protected was because he was writing her on that secret server using an alias, which shows that he damn well knew and had approved in advance her use of the secret unsecured server. On top of that, there's the Anthony Weiner laptop, which I don't know if you heard this. I wrote an article about that too. 675,000 Clinton emails when they got Anthony Weiner's laptop in a search warrant because of all his sex perversion issues. It was all the Clinton emails, the Clinton Foundation, her Secretary of State emails, Huma Abedin's emails. Lots of people emailed Huma as a proxy for Hillary, and it included what Comey called the sorry, I must wave my hands more than most people. The golden emails, because they were the BlackBerry backup emails that they were supposedly just looking for everywhere very diligently. Well, guess what they did when they found them on the Weiner laptop? They got a search warrant for things that didn't include the BlackBerry backup emails. So when they told us, when he stood there and said that day, oh, you know, we've reviewed all the emails now, there's nothing there, that was a bald-faced lie. They specifically did not look at the BlackBerry backups, and they didn't look at a fraction of the emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop. So one of the things, if I were the president, I'd do is demand the Anthony Weiner laptop and get it to the most trusted person in the military to take apart everything on it and then start using it. There's a lot that can be prosecuted. I have no doubt on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up. It's bad.
And how many were murdered, or how many committed suicide? Folks, if you would like to support the work that I do here, I ask you to do so. I give this away for free, given over 1,600 shows away for free, never charged a dime. My support, my continuation of this show is from you, the listener, and there are no other financial supporters of me that determine what I put out for news, and there's never going to be. So please support independent media in any way you can. The reason I give this away is because information, you should not have to go through information in order to get to the truth. You should not have to pay for the truth. You should not have to pay for this kind of information. It should come freely. The last thing I want is for it to be hard for you to access because you can't afford it. So it's for those who cannot afford it, but I also ask for those who can afford to support programs like this, please do so. This is a plea to you to stop the addiction of free on the internet, because the addiction of free is how we got Facebook, you know, monitoring our conversations, our personal interactions, our videos, our cameras, tracking where we go, when we go. Instagram, X, all these platforms that are tracking us left and right, TikTok, and now putting into practice the AI, which is mining all that information and collaborating with all that information to know exactly who you are, what you're about, and what you're going to do next in order to mass market to you. Actually, not mass market to you, but to target market to you. They are targeting you. They're not looking for blood necessarily, even though you would think that they are, because of the sheer expense involved in living in this realm. But so I put a link on YouTube, and I'm putting a link on Rumble, and I'm putting a link on X on how you can support this Truthcast, and I ask you to please do so. So here we go. Let me just put this in the chat on X, this drop. Please support independent and truthful journalism. Boom. And you can pretty much do that any way you can. I want to end with this. I do want to talk a little bit about what's happening in Iran. I think that we're going to be able to do a lot with Iran without firing a shot, but that it will be very strategic, like Venezuela. And I think Venezuela showed you in the last show that they were kind of the precursor to this whole thing, in showing how this can be done very quickly, very efficiently. This is shared by Julie Donuts. Let me play this for you, Brandon Howells.
The MMR and MMRV vaccines have been linked to 2,600% more deaths than measles infection since 1995. You can't make this stuff up. So for the past 30 years, the MMR shots have been killing more children, far more children than measles has. And so this is absolutely terrible. And we identified hundreds of infants and toddlers that died after these shots, often from SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, cardiac arrest, seizures, encephalitis. So it's killing some of these children. And most of these kids, they died within about 2 weeks. So a majority died within 2 weeks after the shot. 40% died within 1 week. So the temporality there checks out. And most of these deaths occurred ages 1 to 1.5, right when they get the MMR shots. Usually 25% of these deaths were classified as sudden infant death syndrome. And so these shots are killing the babies in their sleep. It's absolutely disturbing, and particularly what they're dying from. So all of this combined in this study, I mean, it's unequivocal that these shots are deadly. The MMR and MMRV shots should not be given anymore. They should split them up if the parents still want them. Don't give this full load of garbage.
This is measles, mumps, and rubella shot, right? And the I believe the MMRV is also the HPV. I may be wrong on that, but MMR and RV vaccines linked to 2,657% more U.S. deaths than measles infection since 1995. Folks, the solution is more dangerous than the actual disease. Do you see a problem there? Do you see a problem with this? Folks, lightningspringsranch.com. Use SNED at checkout for 5% off. Get some great steaks. Thank you again to Karen Conklin, who sent me some steaks through Lightning Springs Ranch. If you use SNED at checkout, you'll get 5% off. They put 5% on a card for me to be able to buy some food. Grass-fed, grass-finished, no mRNA in their beef, no antibiotics. They're out there roaming, eating grass, and it's amazing meat. Saint Solutions for colloidal silver, Mysterium, purple pets. Use SNED17 at checkout for 12% off your order. I spray Mysterium in my water. It elevates the frequency to over 1,000. It's very, very healthy for you. Cheers. Please go get yourself some of that. My friends, we're at 2 hours and 8 minutes. I want to wrap it up, and so much happening in the world. And I hope tonight's show was, not just good for you in the sense of, the exposure that's happening and some of the things that are happening that really makes us realize that we're being vindicated for our beliefs of so many years, that we are now, finally coming to a place where it's quite obvious that President Trump is saving this world, and yeah, that's check out the deltas, some good stuff on deltas, and check out President Trump's drops on Truth Social. And this is the talks about East Palestine train. Governor Westmore of Maryland must get the toxic river spill fixed immediately. He's taken over the toxic river spill that went into the Potomac, and talk about the swamp. That's pretty significant in that whole thing. So thanks for joining me, my friends. We'll probably do a wheel spin, hopefully in the next couple of days. I'm going to try to come on tomorrow night, but look for an announcement. If we don't have a show, that'll be posted on X and also on Snedheads. And if I have a show, you'll see me here at 8 o'clock. And I may even do a show Saturday night, depending on what's going on, because things are heating up in the Middle East. So it's pretty significant. I want to stay close with you. But so please share this out if you would, and let people know they can go in. I think I came in a little late today, 15 minutes. I was trying to get a few things done. But you can say start 15 minutes in or 20 minutes in or wherever things start to really get juicy. And thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing this out. All our folks over on X, Rumble, D Live, Facebook, and Telegram. I appreciate you being here. I'm David Snedeker, and I am out. I'll see you very, very soon. Much love. Bye-bye.